I understood from an early age that I wanted to prepare a secure future for myself, especially in anticipation of a family. But I also realized the importance of living in the now and making the most of that. I'm Darren Thedieck. I'm 31 years old. I'm stationed at Aviano Air Base, Italy, and I've saved over $500,000 for early retirement. My job in the military is radio frequency transmission systems. We just got here last year, so we're still somewhat settling in, but we're making the most of it. And we just had our first newborn, our new daughter, Sophia. Our family didn't have a whole lot of money coming up. I had to see my mom struggle at times financially. And so part of that inspired me to do better for myself financially. Around the time of 16 years old, I started gaining interest in personal finance. I started by reading a couple books. Some of my early influencers were Warren Buffett, Benjamin Graham. I joined the military when I was 18, back in August of 2011. My thinking behind joining the military was I wanted to actually travel the world. I knew that I wanted to go to school later on, continue my education, and so the military afforded me that opportunity. I met my wife, Nadia, in late 2021. And we dated until the following summer. Me being a finance guy, I kind of got that conversation going early on in our relationship. So we started working a monthly budget for her to aggressively pay down her debt. And so, she went from the time we met till by the time we got married, which was about a year and a half, and she paid that 25 grand down. So I'm super proud of her for doing that. And, I believe that she really took the initiative on that and got after it. So when my wife and I moved to Italy from Germany last year, we dropped down to one income. So we've had to be even more intentional about how we spend and save money. Service members are uniquely compensated in comparison to civilians. So we get an annual salary, which is public information, but we also get compensated through the form of allowances. We get a food allowance, a housing allowance, a utility allowance, and then we also get a cost of living allowance, which helps us offset some of the additional costs in our particular locations, and that includes overseas. So my monthly budget categories include housing, so our rent, utilities, our cell phone bills, our home fuel bills, as well as our vehicle fuel. I also set aside a certain amount for groceries, as well as discretionary spending. We have some money for obviously like entertainment. So we do have on any given month a Netflix or a Disney subscription, and then also a Spotify subscription. We do set aside some of our savings to cover, emergency expenses. So like last month, I had to make a repair on my vehicle. Our community, our friends here and coworkers really came together for us during this time. They cooked for us, dropped us off some meals, as well as put together a baby shower for us. So, we were very grateful for that. And through so much gifting, we've been really taken care of. The cost of living in Italy is actually pretty affordable in comparison to most parts of the United States. So in rent alone, we're in a pretty nice house, a 4-bed, 2-bath, and we pay roughly 1650 euro, which translates to about 1,800 United States dollars roughly. My wife and I do conduct our monthly budget meetings, and we try to stick to that as best we can. But there are areas, of course, that we splurge in from time to time, like traveling. So when we go on trips, we try not to be sticklers for how much we spend. We're in a really great location to travel. We actually have a ski resort about 30 minutes away. So during the winter, it's a fun thing to do. We're not too far from Austria. Croatia's right there, as well as Germany. So I'm currently 12 years in the military, and I plan to retire after 20 years, which would at that point afford me a pension for the rest of my life. Currently, I have over $500,000 invested in the market, mainly towards retirement. So I'm really taking a laddered approach to investing for retirement. So I started investing in my Roth IRA when I was 18, and I've been maxing that out pretty much every year. So currently invest about $7,000 every year into that Roth IRA, and I invest also $1,300 monthly into a taxable brokerage account with Vanguard. And then I also contribute $920, roughly 20% of my income, to the thrift savings plan, which is the federal government's 401k equivalent. When I retire from the military, 20 years in, I'll get 50% of my base pay at that time. So the number that is my primary goal to get to is $1 million. I hope to attain that within the next 5 years. When I reach the age of 38, I plan to retire. So I want to really put my time and energy towards running an online finance business. After I retire from the military, I'm absolutely going to be a stay-at-home dad. I'm gonna run my online finance business for a little bit, so that'll allow me that benefit to stay at home, run that, but also just kind of hang out and relax and enjoy my life a little bit more by taking care of our children as well as the household. My wife also is planning to work throughout that time in our lives together. But yeah, I'm just gonna enjoy it, allow my wife to go work on her career and chase her dreams. We've looked at Portugal as being at the top of our list in retirement. And I know a lot of expats have moved there in recent years, but Portugal is definitely a place we could see ourselves. I think between everything that I've got going on in my life, serving in the military overseas, taking care of my newborn, my wife and I being relatively newlywed, I think it's a lot of changes that I've been undergoing just in the last year. It's daunting to some effect, but it's mostly just been a joyful experience.